Welcome everybody to something new. History is in the making here tonight from the Pensacola Superspeedway. 36 drivers take to the high banks for something completely new to them, and to us as well. It is the inaugural race of the One-Up Turbo Truck Series at Pensacola Superspeedway here in Pensacola, Florida, the Red Lobster 200. Alongside me in the booth is someone you should know pretty well from his exploits in the Superstar Series. It's our friend Ben McDonnell. And for everybody in this race, this is something completely new. And so what did these guys have to do to acclimate themselves? Because these trucks are something completely different than from what these guys are used to in their full-bodied stock cars.
Yeah, thank you for having me. Yeah, it's definitely going to be a learning curve for everybody in the field, as we've definitely not seen this at all before, as this is completely new to basically everybody in this field. For the first couple laps, you definitely do want to see how the draft works, especially since this is a super speedway race. And try not to get into too much trouble early on. Try to make it through and learn how the car works before you can actually start making moves. Drivers that start up in the front, they have a pretty good position to see how that works. People in the back, they have another advantage. But it's overall going to be a really fun time to see all these cars in trucks work around this racetrack.
And looking at the starting lineup now, we have a lot of newcomers to the series. Some big names from the other series dropping down, and some fellas that are all new to this series. And we got one of each on the front row, with Audrey Anzac, after a part-time Nitro National Series season a year ago, drops down to the trucks full-time. She gets the first ever pole in the One-Up Turbo Truck Series, and rookie Carson Jefferson lines up alongside her in the 66. In row 2, we have two veterans, Ryan Soper moving down from the Superstar Series, and Earl Sear from the Nitro National Series. They take up row number 2. But looking through this field, we've got some big names in this field, and really, you can win this race from anywhere in this field. 51 trucks showed up to qualify, but only 36 could race. Some big names missed out as well, so you can win this race from anywhere. But of all the people that are in this race, there's got to be some that have a better of an advantage than others, and who do you think those might be?
I'd probably say those with the most experience in this universe, as Jared Polanski, he has a really good background. Duke Anzac, he has a really good background. Basically, anybody that's driven at least the car at least once have a pretty good shot, as they know how to run these races and have a good shot at winning the inaugural race, as that is a big thing to have on somebody's resume.
So with that being said, we've done enough talking. It's time to bring you some racing action. For the first time in One-Up racing history, we're going truck racing. And it's from the Pensacola Superspeedway. Stay tuned, folks. You're not going to want to miss a second of this history-making day here at Pensacola. The green flag is next. Stay tuned for the green flag for the One-Up Turbo Truck Series. With Audrey Anzac on the front row, Carson Jefferson alongside her. Entering the restart zone, the green flag is out, and for the first time ever, the One-Up Turbo Truck Series is underway. Earl Sear takes it to the high side to make it 3 wide. Christian Russell goes down to make it 4 wide. We've got a lot of racing action already, and we haven't even gotten to turn 1 yet.
Yeah, it's interesting to see how aggressive everybody's going to be on this restart. Obviously, they still have a lot to learn, but it looks like that 8 truck definitely has a good handling of their truck and is leading the way here through 1 and 2 onto the backstretch.
They've already hit 200 miles per hour down the back straightaway. It is Audrey Anzac leading the way, with Christian Russell and Carson Jefferson side by side for second. Jimmy Hogan's in the 91 trying to figure out where he's going to go. Looks like he's going to go push Christian Russell on that bottom groove. Russell and Anzac are probably going to be fighting it out for the leads. Who's going to lead lap 1, the first lap in Turbo Truck Series history? Who's going to get it at the line, coming to the start-finish line? They're going to be side by side, and it looks like, man, that was close at the line. Christian Russell will lead the first lap.
Yeah, that's definitely something to look out for. A lot of lead changes as they're 4 wide for second place here.
That's Billy Kidd, the outlaw, in that number 72, a rookie who's piloting Miles Mashburn's Robbers Racing number 72. He's getting a push from Dalton Sate and Robert Weaver, who's Billy Kidd's teammate, in the 6. Weaver now puts Sate in the middle with help from Zach Rogers in the 17. He's going to be a contender all season long. And now they're 4 deep, could be even 5 wide behind these leaders, as Billy Kidd, the outlaw, goes for the lead.
It looks like these trucks are very stable. That's why they're able to go 4-5 wide like they are doing right now. These trucks definitely have a good good momentum, good aerodynamics to keep this. The 72 leads.
It's going to be really close. These trucks are so close together. The threat of the big one looms every corner. They are 5 wide behind the leaders. Christian Russell noses back out ahead. And here comes Robert Weaver on the bottom with help from Henry Thomas and Dylan Hall in the Crossroads Racing number 31 down on the bottom of the racetrack. It's Robert Weaver at age 54. He's leading this race right now. Clearly, the age hasn't slowed him down at all one bit. He leads them down the back straightaway right now, entering turn 3. And it looks like, oh, we've got trouble, big trouble in the back of the pack, a huge wreck. Fisher Miller into the catch fence. He's upside down. Looks like Austin Runkle's upside down. Ryan Griffin's in this wreck. Brett Bishop, Jack James, Jonathan Lawson, and Fisher Miller with a wild ride is going to come to rest on his roof. And his race is certainly over on lap 3. Riley Hooper's in this wreck. Oh my goodness, Jack James, his race is over. Jimmy Hogan, Earl Sear, Audrey Anzac, the pole sitter, is in this wreck as well. Jared Polanski, maybe. Allison Rain in the 34. Miles Mashburn in the 74. My goodness, we've only made it 3 laps, and already we've got our first caution of the night, and it is a big one.
Yeah, that was very interesting. Aggression level very high, as drivers definitely did want to push the limits. Obviously, they pushed it a little too much. Hopefully everybody's okay, as there were a couple cars flipping there.
Yeah, those were Austin Runkle in the 18, you see on your screen right there, and Fisher Miller went into the fence in that 38. We hope he's all right as well. Ryan Griffin is in this wreck. He was going to be a championship favorite this year, but he's going to have a hole to dig himself out of, as his race only lasts 3 laps. But right now it is Robert Weaver leading the way. Carson Jefferson's in this wreck. He had a good run going from second starting spot. Weaver out in front of this race. Henry Thomas in second. You can already see 3 trucks out of the race. Jack James, Ryan Griffin, Austin Runkle, and no doubt others will join them, as Fisher Miller is still sitting on pit road. We hope he's all right, because that was a wild ride he took.
Yeah, that was a very interesting thing to see. These cars definitely do have good stability, but obviously you have to be a good race car driver to be able to handle one of these big things. Definitely interesting to see how the wrecks play out. Hopefully everybody's okay. Hopefully the truck was able to keep the driver safe.
So it looks like most of the trucks that have sustained damage in this wreck will be pulling on the pit road. You see Logan Jones with a little bit of damage, David Wade in the 06, and most of the front runners stay on the racetrack. But you see Logan Jones with a donut on the side of his number 94. And it's just a lot of trucks involved in this lap 3 melee that has wiped out at least a quarter of the field. You can see him pulling in Allison Rain. Her race is over. Such high hopes for the Jeff Bolton Racing team, and neither of their trucks will make it to lap number 5, both out of this race after a catastrophically big accident on just the 3rd lap of this race.
Yeah, let's hopefully everybody can dial it down as we come down to the restart, as that 6 and the 12 are leading here. Hopefully they have a good plan going forward and try not to get into another wreck as the rest have, unfortunately.
So this is where it all begins, and it looks like Ryan Griffin just washed up into Fisher Miller, and they just all collide at the same time. Fisher Miller gets on top of the wall into the catch fence, and 2 trucks go flipping down the banking here at Pensacola. A wild ride for everybody involved, but especially for that 38 group.
This is a very dangerous wreck. Sad to see the 38 and most of these guys who were hoping for a great start of the season now just having to wait and see how the rest of these drivers finish out their day and have to go back at it next week.
So here's where Ryan Griffin was running, right about in the mid-pack. You can see they're 4 wide already, and he just washes up a little bit into Fisher Miller, and that's all it takes for these trucks to get to come all together, and a massive accident that's eliminated so many good race trucks.
Yeah, a lot of good-looking race trucks out here. A lot of great guys out of this race early. A lot of great sponsors who are willing to put their names and logos onto these cars now, just out of it. Sad to see all this unfortunate happened really early on in this race.
Yeah, this is going to be a wild ride on board with Fisher Miller. You can see Ryan Griffin just comes up the racetrack just a little too much, gets into the 38, and he just gets launched up into the air, does a somersault into the catch fence, rides the top of the wall, and we lose the camera as he goes barrel rolling down the banking, and it comes to a rest in the infield grass. His race has come to an end very early in this race. We still have over 3/4 of this race left to run. So I'm curious, with all these cars now out of the race, we've got at least 1/4 of the field out of this race already. Does the aggression go down at all, or do you expect these guys to just start pushing again? Because these guys know you gotta be up front to avoid situations especially like this.
Yeah, a lot of these guys up at the front, I doubt that they're going to let out, as track position is very key at super speedways. You definitely don't want to be the one behind the rack. You want to be definitely in front of it. I'm not entirely sure about how the speed of some of these guys in the back are running, especially those with damage from that past wreck. It's definitely going to be interesting to see how the difference of speed between those who were involved and those who were able to stay out in front of it, and seeing the aggression level is definitely going to be an interesting thing to look out for.
One thing I'll say for sure, all 27 drivers still in this race have got to feel very lucky about their situation right now. They've survived the first big one. Not to say we won't get more. We might get more, but they've avoided the first major accident in the night, and with the lights out on the pace car, we will be going green this next time by, with Robert Weaver leading this race. At age 54, it hasn't slowed him down one bit. Henry Thomas, a Superstar Series regular, runs in second, with Justin Rodriguez, a rookie, in third. Actually, rookies currently filling up the majority of the top 10. We've got Tanner Browning in the 32. He runs fourth, ahead of Billy Kidd. We had mentioned him earlier. James Ellison, a veteran of so many other series, but a rookie to one-up competition. He runs sixth, ahead of Zachary Bilson, who made a few Nitro National starts last year. He's seventh. Alexander Rowe, another rookie, in eighth. Dylan Hall, who is James Ellison's teammate, currently runs in the ninth position on the racetrack. So both of the Crossroads Racing trucks are still running in this race, and they're both currently in the top 10 as we take a look at the many trucks that were eliminated in this accident. Such a shame to see. To give you the last top 10 position, it goes to Christian Russell, who led lap number 1. So, with about 1/3 of a lap to go to the restart, what do you think we're going to see? We're going to see all these trucks fan out 3 and 4 wide once again, because that's just what you do at a super speedway. But are we going to see some aggressive passes, or do you think we're just going to see people hold station until we get to... Because remember, a lot of these trucks stayed on the racetrack under this caution, so I'm not so sure they're going to be able to make it to the end on fuel. The pit window is very tight here.
Yeah, the pit window is going to be interesting. Going back to this restart, it's going to be different because it's a single file restart and not a double file restart, so the aggression level might be a little bit lackadaisical here, and it's going to be interesting to see how if the 12's actually going to make a move, see how everybody's going to make a move in the back as well.
So it's 2 Chevrolets leading 2 Toyotas, then 2 more Chevrolets off of turn 4. The green flag is out. We're back underway here at Pensacola. Robert Weaver gets a good launch, but I wouldn't be so sure that he's going to have that lead by the time we get off turn 2, because that 12 truck looks really quick out of the JHM Racing stable. There he goes down to the inside. Henry Thomas makes a move, and it looks like Justin Rodriguez is going to go with him in the 82, and it looks like Robert Weaver is going to be hung out to dry here on the high side.
Yeah, everybody's going to go low, as that is the preferred groove right now. Try not to be stuck out on the outside, especially with no help. It's definitely not going to help you in the long run, as you're just going to get shuffled back.
Now we're going 3 wide for the lead. Thomas on the top, Rodriguez in the middle, Tanner Browning in the 32, and making his first one-up start of any kind, as is the majority of this field. We got a lot of rookies in this race, but they're driving like veterans here tonight, and you can see the pack's already thinned out from trucks that have sustained damage. They've already fallen off the pack. But Tanner Browning leads the way on the first lap of the restart. We've got 21 trucks still in this lead pack.
Yeah, 21 trucks. That's still a lot, and a lot of things could happen with this amount of trucks. So you definitely do want to be careful. 3 wide is definitely a good move here, as this is a very wide racetrack, but it may not always be the smartest move, so you definitely have to be a little bit careful on that.
We've got teammates making a move on Tanner Browning on the inside. We've got Zachary Bilson and Christian Russell on the inside, both from the Kings Motorsports camp. They've got to be some more favorites for the championship, especially the 0-2, who's got a year of experience under his belt from the Nitro National Series. He made the playoffs there a year ago, but this is a whole new ball game with a lot of new contenders. Whoa, we got to dive down to the inside. Russell making an aggressive move on his teammate, but he opened the door for Robert Weaver to take it right back with help from the Chinese rookie Guo Zhao on the inside.
Yeah, that's very interesting to see how aggressive they're going with against their teammates of all things. That definitely shows how aggressive these drivers are and how much they want the lead, especially for the opening laps of this race.
One driver we got to keep an eye on in this race. He says he's a super speedway expert, and he's showing it right here. This number 24 truck, the DraftKings Toyota of rookie Guo Zhao from China, is going to make a big run at the lead here, but Robert Weaver's going to hold him off. This 24 has got to be one of the favorites on the super speedways. He's shown his strength already in this race. He's charged from the 20th starting spot all the way up to second. He's got one more truck to pass to take the lead for good here.
Yeah, that Toyota is definitely strong. Most of these Toyotas do look really well done in the shops, and how they're able to compete with the other manufacturers, as this is a whole new car body and truck body for everybody here. It's going to be interesting to see how the manufacturer games are also going to play out here in the later stages of the race.
So, and like I said, Robert Weaver just leaves a little bit of space, and that allows Guo Zhao to take the lead of this race with help from Giovanni Pena in the 86. He's a veteran as well. He's got a year under his belt in the Nitro National Series. He drives for BTB Motorsports, the lone BTB Motorsports truck, to make the field. His two teammates, Trey Jackson and Brandon Smith, both failed to qualify for this race. So Pena's got a lot of weight on his shoulders, carrying the BTB banner here at Pensacola, and we've got a lot of good trucks still in contention for the race win, but it's Zhao who leads the way at lap 11.
Yeah, it was definitely interesting to watch qualifying, as there were a ton of trucks trying to make their first ever start in the first ever race, just to show pride and show how well their teams are doing and how well of a driver they are just by making the show.
So, with Zhao leading the way, and it's side-by-side for second behind him with Pena and Weaver, Billy Kidd's going to make a move 3 wide on the bottom, and Logan Jones, who was in that wreck earlier in the race, looks like he's got that truck fixed up well enough. He's going to try and take a spot. They're 4 wide for 4th position behind. Christian Russell fades to the back a little bit, but Jones has help from Alexander Rowe and Henry Thomas on the inside, but it's Zhao who continues to lead the way.
Yeah, he's doing a really great job of commanding this field. He might lose it here. Gave the 86 a lot of room on the inside, though.
Yeah, he might. That's just a rookie experience. You got to learn from each race and hopefully take away something positive from it. As it looks like Giovanni Pena has actually set the fastest lap of the race so far. That is a bonus point you earn for fastest lap of the race, and Pena's going to need every point he can get if he hopes to make the top 30. To try and lock himself in after race 5. But right now, Pena's not focused on points. He's going for the race lead with help from Henry Thomas and James Ellison in the 10.
Yeah, points don't really matter too much unless you are at the back end of this field and trying to make it as much as you can to hopefully make every race. The top 30 goal is definitely one you want to have in mind. Well, obviously, that's just a small goal. You want to go for that win every single week you can, as that is the priority goal, to make the championship and win the championship.
And one of the guys who's got a really good shot at it is that 17 Red Bull Toyota, Zach Rogers. Got help from his Toyota teammate Tanner Browning, and he's pushing his teammate Zachary Bilson to the race lead. As we focus now to the front of the field, Bilson leads the way with a push from Rogers, but here comes Tanner Browning on the inside with an assist from Ryan Soper in the 84. He's looking to make a name for himself in the Truck Series after a dismal season in the Superstar Series. He's making a move for second right now.
Yeah, an aggressive move by that 84, finally getting up to the front. Good showing for that team. as they definitely want to be up in the spotlight and contend for wins every race that they can.
And here he comes for the race lead, Ryan Soper. He only led one lap in all of 2021, and as he comes off turn 4, he will lead this one at Pensacola. Give the lead to the 84, but I'm not sure if he's going to hold it for very long, because Duke Anzac's right on his inside with a push from Christian Russell, Robert Weaver, and Billy Kidd in the 72.
Yeah, he left that inside open for that 83. He definitely had a good shot at the lead, just wasn't able to focus on that inside, which had the momentum, and just let it go. But he definitely has a lot more time to make it back up and hopefully fight for the lead again later on in this race.
So Duke Anzac leads the way. He wanted to be in this first race for sure, and he'll be in the booth with us for the Nitro National Series race tomorrow. But right now, he's under fire on the racetrack from Christian Russell, and he's got the two Robbers Racing trucks underneath him of Billy Kidd and Robert Weaver. Because those are the only Robbers trucks left in this race. Carson Jefferson and Riley Hooper were both knocked out of contention in that accident. But we still got plenty of good trucks left in this. Here's David Wade in the 06, making one of only 2 scheduled starts for David Wade this season, the other coming at Talladega in the fall. So he's got to take advantage of this every opportunity he can get, and he's doing a good job. The 06 pushing the 6 out in the lead here at Pensacola.
Yeah, super speedways are great opportunities to show your strength, especially for the smaller teams who are trying to show them and show their sponsors in the spotlight, as these are great opportunities to have a really balanced race car or race truck in this series, and be able to contend and be able to go up front and challenge these big names.
So here comes David Wade to the inside, but Aguo Zhao pulls a dummy on him. It's going to be 3 wide for the lead going into turn 1, starting lap 17. And we got Zhao in the inside with help from Henry Thomas. They're going to go 4 wide behind with the lone Ram in this race. And in this series, the 70 of Henry Brown, he was in the Superstar Series a year ago, went down to the trucks. He's the only team in this series running a Ram in competition. We'll see how well he does all by himself. As you see the 66 of Carson Jefferson all by himself, he will inevitably go a lap down to this pack. The question is, when will they catch him?
Yeah, the 12 making the inside of that 24. He definitely wants to be up in front, as that 70 and the 17 are right behind him, going through 3 and 4. This is going to be an interesting race, as they are 3 deep way back in that pack.
The question is, when are they going to catch that 66, and how will that affect the pack? We've seen in the Superstar Series, the duels, and in the duel races, when you catch a car all by itself going a lap down, that can split the pack up in a big hurry, because that truck in this race will be going about 180, 185 miles per hour. These guys will be pushing 205, 210. So a big speed differential there, and that will cause issues, especially if you're in a heavy pack like this.
Yeah, you definitely want to get by those lap cars as fast as you can. Obviously, that lap car is not going to let that happen, as they don't want to go multiple laps down and try to catch the end of the draft. So they're going to do whatever they can to stay up with them. But it's all up to the lead pack drivers to get around them safely and not cause another big wreck like we already saw earlier this race.
So the dominant driver of the race has got to go to Aguo Zhao, who leads the race right now. But how about some newcomers into the top 10 we haven't seen yet? Griffith Alsop in the number 5, a late addition to the Robin Hood Racing team, owned by Christian Russell, who's in this lead pack. And as well as the truck right behind the number 5, Francois Chastain, in the 1 after a mildly successful Nitro National Series season. He goes down to trucks with the New England Cruisers Racing team. That 1 truck, of course, is going to be a contender all season long, but right now this 24 is putting a stamp on the field. He leads after we're approaching half distance already, but I imagine we still got plenty of racing action still to come.
Yeah, we got plenty of racing actions and a possible pit stop if this thing goes green all the way. Many drivers did not pit on that last caution, as it was only about lap 3 that the caution came out. So it's going to be interesting to see how long the fuel can take these trucks, and to see who is actually going to make the first pit stop and who's going to take the gamble of maybe staying out just a little bit longer just to get the caution.
I gotta say though, I'll hold my thought because they're gonna come up to lap Carson Jefferson here in just a moment. Here they come. They're coming to put him a lap down. He's gonna put him on the inside. Here's James Ellison to the inside. He's gonna push the 24 out in front, and he's gonna hold that 66 is gonna hold up the pack in quite a way. Logan Jones moves up to third. Alexander Rowe fourth. But look at this pack. The 66 holding up Ryan Soper, Francois Chastain, Pena, Browning. All these trucks are going to fall to the back of the train real quickly. And if they don't get around in a big hurry, they might even lose the draft altogether.
Yeah, you definitely don't want to be stopped behind that lap traffic, but they're going to try to do what they can to stay in this draft. As this really spread out the field, a lot of guys are now single file or just double file. As we see 3 wide for fourth, I believe. It's still really heavy racing, but everybody is now panicking, trying to get back up to the lead group now.
That lead group is now getting split up because here comes James Ellison in the Crossroads Racing number 10, a truck he owns. He's getting a push from Duke Anzac, trying to get past Zhao, who's dominated this race so far. But Ellison to the inside with help from Duke Anzac and Justin Rodriguez. Robert Weaver's caught up as well. They're going to push their way past the 24 and the 51. Coming off of turn 4, this is going to be big. Leading at the halfway lap, here comes James Ellison. He's going to come up to block Zhao. That could be a problem. He opens the door for Anzac, but Ellison does lead the lap. I'm not so sure he's going to keep the lead, though, and he's already lost it. There goes Duke Anzac to the lead.
Yeah, a lot of shuffling on that front stretch. It definitely seems like a highway going down the interstate. Just everybody just scrambling, trying to find room and trying to get up to the front.
It looks like
a few people.
Yeah, I was going to say, it looks like a few trucks are close to losing the draft, including Francois Chastain and Ryan Soper in these 2 potent Ford F-150s. They're pretty far behind the pack, and I worry about them because they might fall off the draft entirely, and if that happens, say goodbye to any hope of winning this race.
Yeah, that's very unfortunate. These 2 trucks are definitely ones for being a contender, especially throughout the first half of this race. Sad to see that lap traffic definitely played a factor in this, but hopefully they can get together and catch this lead group before they get away too far.
And leading that lead group, Duke Anzac in the 83. He's got Robert Weaver pushing him. And how about Knox Hanley in the number 7, the lone Logansport truck in this race? His teammate Brandon Mayhew failed to qualify. So, Knox Hanley now running in the 3rd position in that number 7, Conseco Ford. And it looks like Hanley's going to try and give a push to Robert Weaver, but it looks like he's going to drift up high, give a push to the 83 instead. That allows the Robbers Racing teammates to get hooked up once again. The 6 and the 72 going for the lead together, and it put Robert Weaver back in the lead of this race. Him and Zhao, I gotta think, have got the 2 fastest trucks in this field right now.
Yeah, for sure. They have the best super speedway IQ I've seen so far today. They definitely have great knowledge of how to run these races. Obviously, we're only just halfway. We haven't seen the full potential of everybody, but these 2 definitely do stand out.
And down the inside, they're 4 wide for second. Christian Russell with help from Henry Brown, Giovanni Pena, and it looks like James Ellison in the back. And I think those 2 at the very tail end may have gotten caught up to the back of the field, and I think they have. So put 21 trucks back in the lead draft with hopes of winning the first ever Turbo Truck Series race. Duke Anzac drops to the tail of the field, but Christian Russell now makes a move for the lead with help from Henry Brown. Russell takes the point with about 17 laps to go.
Yeah, it's going to be an interesting last 17 laps. I wonder, those with teammates in this race, I wonder if they'll start hooking up and trying to battle and try to lead this thing as a group. Or if they're just going to go by themselves and try to go for it all by themselves.
As they say in super speedway racing, your friends are where you find them. And right now, Christian Russell's found a good one in Henry Brown. They have extended their lead from the rest of the pack that are 4 wide, 2 rows deep behind them. This is going to be a very interesting battle, because if we get another caution, they should be able to make it to the end of the race from here.
Oh yeah, definitely. We've ran 25 laps, yet we had a couple under caution, but we definitely can make it over halfway through this race on just 1 fuel run. So if a caution does come out, which could happen at any possible moment, those who survive the wreck and don't have a damaged race truck can have an opportunity to win this by going down pit road and topping off for some fuel.
Some trucks might even take the option of, if we get enough caution laps, they could try and make this race without pitting at all. It'd be quite the gamble if you do it that way, but I think some trucks might try it if we get enough caution laps, because a caution lap here is worth about, like, 3 green flag laps. So you definitely want to save fuel under caution if you can. And here comes David Wade to the inside, trying to take the lead away from Russell and Thomas on the bottom.
Yeah, that Chevy is definitely looking strong right now. Going to the point, that 06 definitely has the strong run. Trying to get help from whoever that is behind him. It looks like the one of Chastain there.
Yep, that's the Chastain truck pushing David Wade. This 06 truck will be rotated across the season by 4 different drivers. Maston Remmel will take over at Macon, Georgia next week. But it's David Wade behind the wheel right now. He continues to lead this race, and they're stacking up pretty deep behind him. This pack is so tightly contested. And remember, in our Superstar Series dual races, we had a pack about this size, and there was still the opportunity for the big one to strike, and it did. So don't think for a second that we're done with cautions, because we might not be done with them quite yet.
Yeah, especially at the end of the race coming up, as we're almost at the 10 to go point. Drivers are going to start getting antsy. They just want to go up to the front and try to battle. Most of these guys are definitely starting to shuffle around, as 3-4 wide is becoming a common occurrence now.
So, coming to start-finish line, it looks like, we got one truck coming to pit road. It's the 10 of James Ellison. He's coming to pit road all by himself. He must not be confident that that Crossroads Racing entry can make it to the end. We'll see what he can do now, but it's going to be a tough road getting back into contention. If you pit all by yourself, you want friends on pit road whenever possible, because then you can form up a draft and get back into the mix as soon as possible. But back at the front of the field, we're 3 wide for the lead once again. It is Wade, Chastain, and the Outlaw on the inside, and now Alexander Rowe makes his presence known on the bottom. We're going 4 wide now.
Yeah, the key to a good pit stop is being able to go with a group and being able to execute it well. You definitely do want friends.
We are, I hate to interrupt, but we are 5 wide for the race lead right now. And it looks like it's going to be, it looks like a green truck down on the bottom. It is Knox Hanley in the 7 going for the race lead, and he's got it. He leads the lap quite handily from the contenders right behind him. Oh, and he gets into a crash going into turn 1. Duke Ansac's in it. Griffith also. Alexander Rowe, Billy Kidd, David Wade's in this one. Logan Jones with a hard hit going into turn 1. His night's certainly over, and the caution flag flies at the most opportune time for James Ellison. He stayed on the lead lap through all that. He may be in prime position here now.
Yeah, he definitely got a lucky break being able to pit before anybody else could. It's going to be interesting to see how the pit cycle will work out. Very unfortunate that wreck had to happen for those. Definitely a lot of trucks involved there. Very unfortunate to see that, especially for those who were very aggressive in being able to stay up front most of this race.
You can see James Ellison. He's half a straightaway ahead of the lead pack, headed by Zachary Bilson. So Bilson will be the leader at the caution flag, and Ellison just got a huge break by staying on the lead lap through all that. But I agree, it's a very unfortunate situation for all these guys involved, because now the field's starting to thin out in quite a big way. We only had 9 cars in that lead pack cross the line, and I'm not so sure that and if you add Ellison to the mix, that makes 10. But that's still quite a low amount to finish this race. Of course, some of the trucks in that accident may be able to continue, but still, we've thinned the herd quite a bit here with 10 to go.
Yeah, 36 cars all the way down to just a few. It's going to be interesting to see how the draft works and how drivers are able to be a little bit more aggressive with more breathing room, not having everybody all surrounding your truck.
So Zachary Bilson leads the way, and we've got more retirees. We've got Alexander Rowe, Logan Jones, Griffith Allsup, David Wade. He had such a good run going in that 06. He'll have to wait till Talladega in the fall for another shot at racing in the Turbo Truck Series, but he'll come out of this knowing he had a fast truck. People saw him compete here tonight, and he'll have a shot again at Talladega. But here's the moment of truth. We'll see if some of the trucks pit here, because if they do, they should definitely be able to make it. But I wonder it doesn't look like anybody's pulling off. We might see some guys take a gamble that this caution will last a while, and they can save enough fuel under the caution flag to make it to the end of the race. It looks like Dylan Hall's going to pit, and it looks like Tanner Browning's going to come with him, Justin Rodriguez, and then the rest of the trucks coming down pit road will have damage. You see Dylan Hall with a little bit of damage as well on that 31, but most of the leaders stay out. They're gambling that they can make it to the end on fuel. That is quite the gamble they're going through right now.
Yeah, it's interesting to see the split. Obviously, there is a lot of cars that still haven't pit yet. It's going to be interesting to see how they fare. A lot of cars taking the safe bet, which is a smart move, especially to the last couple laps and not being entirely sure on if you're going to make it all the way to the end or not.
So this is where the wreck started with Knox Hanley. He was leading the race, but he just washes up into Alexander Rowe, and from there it's just dominoes at this point. A lot of good trucks stacked up. Duke Anzac was in this one. David Wade had the final blow to Logan Jones's number 94. That's two of the D4 Motorsports Fords out of contention now, and Jones is the first of those three out of the race. But yeah, you see the 5 of Griffith also, and the 94. They are definitely done for the night, and Knox Hanley as well. So looking at this accident, this is just how every wreck here at Pensacola starts. One truck washes up into the one on its outside, and they just get collected into the wall, and from there, it's just stack up city from there.
Yeah, this is a very aggressive racetrack, as there is definitely plenty of room to make these moves, but sometimes drivers do get a little bit anxious and don't realize how much space they're giving, and that just leads to the unfortunate wrecks like we've seen tonight.
So with that being said, we've got plenty of trucks that are torn up and out of this race. There's Justin Rodriguez had such a good run going in the Crown Ultra number 82, one of only 2 Crown Ultra trucks to make this race at all, and both were eliminated in this one accident. So it looks like we will have about 24 trucks still running at the end of this thing. A lot of them will have damage, of course. You see Carson Jefferson pull off the pit. He was a lap down, so he pits a lap later. You see a lot of trucks with some significant damage, and there is James Ellison. He will be on the lead lap, in the mix for the victory, of course, but he will have to restart behind quite a lot of trucks with some significant damage. So we'll see how far up he can climb. He'll restart 15th, but it goes to show you, what James Ellison's race will depend on is how fast he can get around that lap traffic.
Oh yeah, for sure. There is, yet again, a lot of cars that haven't pit, not sure how tire wear is going to really affect them, or if fuel's actually going to affect them, to see if they are actually going to make it to the end of the race. But that truck, it definitely has the best position out here, as it is ready to go and go for this win.
So these trucks up at the front, they're taking a massive gamble here with Zachary Bilson, Robert Weaver, Christian Russell, Henry Brown, Giovanni Pena, A. Guozao, Ryan Soper, Francois Chastain. They are your top 8 right now. They've all made it through wrecks fairly unscathed, but they've got to be gasping for fuel, and we still have about 8-9 laps to go in this race. And keep in mind, that is 27 miles of fuel you got to keep on board for these final bit of time. So anything's still possible in this race. Don't get up for anything, because this coming restart may decide everything.
Yeah, these caution laps are also helping these cars that stayed out, saving, as we said, about 3 laps of green flag racing fuel. It's definitely going to be interesting to see how much fuel they actually are saving, and to see if it actually make them last all the way to the end of the race.
Remember, that 24 truck was leading quite a bit of this race, so he might have a little less fuel on board than the others, because he had to push all out to try and get to and maintain the lead. But the trucks behind him were able to maintain a steady pace by going half throttle, even quarter throttle, trying to stay in his draft. And when you look to the pace truck now, the lights are out. We'll be going to the restart next time they cross the line, and we will take that restart with about 7 laps to go in this race.
Yeah, let's we got to take all factors into consideration, wondering how this restart is going to go. How aggressive is everybody going to be? Are the people in the front going to have to save fuel, or if they're going to be able to go all out and be able to contend for this win? We are not sure about anything right now. All that we know is that we have about 7 laps to go once this race goes back green, and to see who's going to win it. Is there going to be another caution? Is there going to be another wreck that we might not be able to see? Who knows?
And keep in mind, if a wreck does happen late in the late stages of this race, it may not restart. We do not have overtime rules in this series, so once we get to a certain point in the race, if a caution were to come out, that could be the end of it right there and then. So whoever's leading at that moment would be in prime position here, so the battle for the lead is going to be as intense as it'll ever be.
Yeah, it's definitely go time for everybody in this field. You don't know when the next wreck is going to happen. You don't know when the next opportunity to go for the lead is going to open up. You have to go, you have to be aggressive, and you have to go for that win.
And at this point, there's no teammates, there's no friends. You take what you can get right now, because a win in the first ever Turbo Truck Series race, that is going to stick with you for the rest of your career. People will always remember you as the first driver to win, and everybody still running in this race would love to be the person to achieve that.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be interesting to see how they're going to be able to execute it and where they're going to come from on this restart. As we come through 3 and 4 for the final time before we go back green, it's going to be one hell of a restart here.
So, Zachary Bilson leads the way, with Robert Weaver second, Christian Russell third, Henry Brown, Giovanni Pena round out the top 5. The pace car pulls off, and it leaves us in the hands of the 81 driver. Bilson in the 81 leads us into the restart zone. The green flag is out. We're back underway, and we got some spreading out in the field. We'll see who can last the longest, because keep in mind, we might see trucks dropping like flies as they run out of fuel. We don't know how much they saved, but right now, Bilson leads the way, and it looks like they're going to be side by side for second with Brown and Weaver. You definitely want to be on the bottom at this point, because A, it's the fastest way around, and B, you save the most fuel down there because it's the shortest way around.
Yeah, there's a bit of a breakup between groups. There's actually a first pack and a second pack. There might be a couple damage cars that are holding up these guys.
Oh yeah, you see James Ellison trying to fight through that pack, but he just can't do it at this point. But we've got we got at least 7 trucks now in this lead pack, all of whom contending for the race win. And at this point, well, who knows? We still got Robert Weaver's got a massive lead at this point, so anything he can do. Oh, but he can't make it on fuel. He has to come into pit, and the caution flag is out now. We got a big crash. Duke Anzac again involved in a wreck. And who else was? Oh, Dylan Hall, a heavy impact for the 31 team. His race has likely come to an end on lap 35. And a lot of these guys came into pit right when that happened. Could there have been a stack-up trying to make it to pit road?
Yeah, that's going to be interesting. We got to watch the replay here and see what happened and what could possibly end this race.
So James Ellison has fought his way up to second, but Giovanni Pena is being scored as the race leader. We'll see where he is on the racetrack. Oh, there he is, Giovanni Pena. On the apron of the racetrack. Could he be out of fuel now as the caution comes out? Because Ellison's the first car to line up behind the pace truck. Could Ellison be done? Could Ellison be in the catbird seat? Because now Giovanni Pena could be out of fuel. Francois Chastain trundling down the pit lane very slowly in that number 1. He's out of fuel as well, but at least he made it to pit road where he can top off. But as for the rest of these guys, like Pena, they could be in a lot of trouble here.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be interesting, to say the least, to see what is going to happen and to see if we're actually going to get this race restarted or not.
Oh, you see Ryan Soper on pit road. He was having such a good run. He was out of fuel as well. Giovanni Pena was leading this race, but now that Hunt Brothers Chevy Camaro Silverado, I should say, that 86 is, that was close to being hit by the 81 and the 6. They are topped off with fuel. They're good to go to the end. But Giovanni Pena, well, he was hoping for a Cinderella story, an upset victory, but the tank just ran out when he needed it to last him the distance. And Christian Russell had such a good day going as well in that 0-2. But you can see the smoke billowing out from behind that Monster Energy Toyota, his race is over as well. And you can see Giovanni Pena just gasping for fumes as he slowly crawls to a stop on the banking of turns 3 and 4. He just can't quite make it to pit road. He'll require a tow back, but Jimmy Hogan and Duke Anzac are out of this race as well from that heavy crash. And you see a lot of trucks on the flat out of gas. Dalton Sate, Henry Thomas, Henry Brown as well. James Ellison, though, he's good to go on fuel, and he's leading this race.
Yeah, this is a very interesting sight to see. A lot of cars out of fuel and nowhere to go. As that 86 has to tow back to pit road, sadly. A lot of cars are out of this race just because of being short on fuel. This is going to be an interesting race. Definitely one for the record books.
So, we'll find a replay of what happened to Gyllenhaal, Duke Anzac, Jimmy Hogan, and the rest. But James Ellison, with 5 laps to go, could be in a position to win this race. We still got a lot of time left until that happens, but so Gyllenhaal was the center point of this accident. Oh, it starts ahead of him though. Duke Anzac gets turned in a big way. Oh, and Hall gets tipped onto his roof. He goes flipping down the pit entry lane, and he just comes to a rest against the inside wall. And Gyllenhaal had such a good run going in that Crossroads Racing number 31, but his race is run and done already. So you can see right here, oh, Anzac gets turned by his sister, Audrey. That's going to be a tough conversation to manage once this race is over. But Gyllenhaal goes for the wildest ride in this accident. He tumbles a couple of times down the front stretch. Thankfully, it was relatively slow speed, so not too much harm done in that one. But looking back to the front of this field, it's Hall's teammate, James Ellison, who's in the catbird seat right now. He has the lead of this race. He can make it to the end on fuel. But the question is, which trucks will be able to challenge him for this win? Miles Mashburn certainly won't. He's got some significant damage to his number 74. Tanner Browning could pose a challenge. Audrey Anzac's got a lot of damage. Billy Kidd too. But guys like Robert Weaver, Zachary Bilson, Zach Rogers, they could pose a challenge late in this race. It's still anybody's guess, as now, I believe, we only have 13 trucks remaining in this race.
Yeah, that's an interesting thing to see. Obviously, not everybody is at full strength, as many of these trucks have damage. So it's definitely going to be interesting to see how many of these trucks are actually going to be competitive and be able to contend for this win, as we still don't know when the 1 to go signal is going to be displayed off that pace truck.
I have a good feeling it'll be the lights will go out when they cross the line here, and it'll give us a 2-lap shootout to decide this. Ellison just hopes this race will finish under caution, or at most have a 1-lap dash. But we're going to look to the pace truck right now, coming to the start-finish line, and it looks like coming to the line, yes, the lights go out on the pace truck. We will have a 2-lap shootout to decide the winner of this race. James Ellison leads this race. He's got a car buffer between himself and the next highest competitive truck, Tanner Browning, in third. The question is, how fast can Browning, can Weaver, Bilson, Rogers, how fast can they clear these damaged trucks and challenge Ellison? Because at this point, that 10 truck has got to be sweating bullets right now, because he's so close to victory, he can almost taste it, but he's got to contend for 2 more laps against some very fast trucks behind him.
Yeah, hopefully the damaged trucks can get out of the way, but obviously that's not going to be the situation. That would be obviously every driver's ideal situation, but you have to be aggressive here no matter what. It doesn't matter who you are. You got to go. You just got to be aggressive. You have to be able to block if you're that 10. You got to move through that 74 if you're that 32. You just have to do what you got to do and be there at the end to hopefully win the race.
Who needs friends when you've got a race-winning trophy waiting for you? So, we've got half a lap to go to the restart. James Ellison is your leader. Miles Mashburn's got damage, but he's in second place. Tanner Browning's got an intact truck. He's third. Audrey Anzac with damage is fourth. Billy Kidd with damage is fifth. Jonathan Lawson with damage is sixth. Then the next undamaged truck is Robert Weaver in seventh. Then you got a few undamaged trucks back there. Zachary Bilson, Zach Rogers, and Aguo Zhao rounding out the top 10. And those are the only 10 trucks on the lead lap right now. So those will be your 10 that'll contend for victory, and these will be your top 10 finishers. The question is in what order will they be finishing in about 2 laps time, because we're about to settle this race right here and now.
Yeah, as the pace car is going to come around turn 4 and pull off, hopefully for the final time, and get a 2-lap shootout here. The 10, the 74 lead us here to the green.
Coming off of turn 4, pace truck's off. James Ellison's got to be really nervous, but he's got to do what he has to do. Green flag is out. We're underway with 2 laps to go. Ellison gets a good jump. We'll see how fast Browning can get around Mashburn. He pulls to the inside, and here comes Robert Weaver to come along with him. So James Ellison all by himself in the lead. He's got a few trucks to contend with still. Here they come. Robert Weaver, Zachary Bilson, and Tanner Browning all trying to steal the win away from James Ellison.
That 10 is very vulnerable right now, but that 32 doesn't look like he's going to make a move just yet. Oh, as he makes the move.
He comes down, but here comes Robert Weaver to the inside of both of them. They're going to be 3 wide for the race lead, coming through 3 and 4. It looks like these 3 are going to be the trucks to settle this race win, as everybody else is getting held up by the lap traffic, or at least the damaged race cars. Ellison falls to 3rd. Robert Weaver takes the lead of this race. At age 54, he could be the oldest winner in one-up history as we come to the white flag this time.
Age is only a number for that 6, as he is doing what any young gun could do as well. That 6 definitely has a hard charge as that 10 makes the move on the inside.
James Ellison. Oh, we got a smoker. It's Giovanni Pena. He blows the engine in his 86. He's done for the night. Coming through 3 and turn 1 and 2 for the final time. They are 3 wide for the lead. James Ellison, Robert Weaver, Tanner Browning. Zach Rogers joins the fray in the 17, as well as Zachary Bilson in the 81. It's a five-man battle for the win. James Ellison's got the preferred position, but will Zach Rogers make a move on him here?
It looks like he's just going to stay behind that 10, give him a push, show his loyalty.
Giving the push of his life, James Ellison, coming for 3 and 4 for the final time. James Ellison's going to go down in history, in the one-up racing history books. No one's going to forget the day. James Ellison, in his number 10 Operation Lifesaver Chevrolet, comes off turn 4 and will become the first winner in one-up Turbo Truck Series history. James Ellison wins the Red Lobster 200 in a last lap pass in one for the ages. The 10 car, the rookie James Ellison has done it. He is the winner after a chaotic race at Pensacola that only saw 13 finish.
What an amazing race by everybody in this field, as a lot of drama went down and a lot to see for this new truck that we get to see for the first time and to hopefully see for many years to come.
So, that was quite the finish, and James Ellison can finally start breathing a sigh of relief. He's done. He started 33rd in this race, but it just goes to show you can win this race from anywhere. And James Ellison has got to be celebrating it behind the wheel of that number 10. The Operation Lifesaver Silverado has crossed the line first ahead of 35 other challengers, and he's got the points lead going into the start of the season. The Turbo Truck Series well underway. What are your final thoughts from such an enthralling race from start to finish?
It's a great showing for this new truck. Definitely going to be interesting to see how the rest of the season plays out, and seeing all these different track combinations with this vehicle, and seeing how the racing gets better and better over the course of this first inaugural season.
So Crossroads Racing has got a lot to celebrate. Their first win of any kind. It comes in the season opener in the Turbo Truck Series. James Ellison, your race winner, with Robert Weaver an agonizing second. But his day will come, I'm sure. He's behind one of the championship challenging trucks. And we've got a lot to look forward to as the season gets fully underway. So, from Ben McDonald and from myself as well, we say goodbye from Pensacola Superspeedway, where the upset of upsets has occurred in the first race in series history. James Ellison, we'll remember his name in the record books. It'll be there forever. He is the first ever winner in the one-up Turbo Truck Series, and he gets 2022 off in the best way possible with a victory here at the Pensacola Superspeedway.